I'm also pleased to report that the one big beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed.
Was it something that military commanders asked you for? Did they ask you to do this?
Well, let me put it differently. I suggested it, and they all said, "We love the idea, sir."
So no, they didn't ask for it. They didn't think. Yeah, they all said it was a great idea. You know, the ones that I haven't already fired and the ones who wanted to keep their job because they knew that if they spoke out against this, they'd be immediately fired. Let me answer that different. They didn't. That's it. That's it. Also, so $175 billion total, because that's what the defense contractors that he's going to hand $175 billion of taxpayer money over to have said it will cost. And that's good. Because if they said that, then you can take that to the bank. Well, they'll take that to the bank actually as they take the $175 billion. And it's never gone over. Now, defense contractors have never ended up needing more money than they say. We'll return to that. But I love that it's the $25 billion down deposit. Because he means down payment or deposit, but he doesn't know which, and his brain is rotting. And I know that Biden's brain is worse off, but can we at least acknowledge that he doesn't know what he's saying? Anyway, here's a picture of him looking at it. I don't know if that's designed to appeal to viewers or if that literally is designed to appeal to Donald Trump. He is dumb and shallow enough that he might actually just, yeah, no, I like it's a dome over America. It's a dome, and it's a lot of money. And we're gonna talk about the money, but can we just talk briefly about the military doesn't think we need this. The military is not begging for this money, and they love getting money, but they're not asking for this money. This seems to be Donald Trump, who back in the 80s, well, I'm not gonna say he came of age, but he was only middle-aged at that point. He has always been terrified of nuclear war. He was obviously into the whole Star Wars thing under Reagan, which ended up being a massive waste of money. And because he's terrified of nuclear war, he's gonna cost us hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're expected to pay that. And not just pay it, but likely pay it to his pals who run defense contractors or to Elon Musk. And so this is not only a massive waste of money from a guy who implies that he's all about cutting waste. This is also likely massive corruption on the highest level. Sharon, what do you think?
Well, it is, and I don't know. My mind goes in different places, and I started to think, I understand that all these people are butt kissers who are with him out of preservation or survival, but I don't understand why you can't like maybe split the difference a little bit. I was on the show with Cenk the other day and he was saying how Trump can be convinced of some things. What if you could allow him to steal if he's gonna take what he's gonna take, but like give him some good ideas, sprinkle some good there too, like, yeah, this is good, but it would really be great if you did it this way. Like you could get, you don't agree.
No, I think everyone should try to manipulate him if they have a chance.
I understand he's gonna do what he's gonna do, but there's gotta be a way to insert, like wrap your kids' vegetables in chocolate. Well, they're still getting vegetables. Do you want them to have so much chocolate now? But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't understand why it has to be so bad, so dumb, such a penalty for all of us. You can't reduce it just a little bit by tricking this guy?
Yeah, maybe, and maybe they did. Maybe he wanted to put $3 trillion into it or whatever.
You're right.
I don't know, but I think he likes it. I think he likes that it's. They probably were like, well, I guess if we're gonna do it, we can make it a little bit smaller, but we'll call it golden. And he's like, yeah, that's good, golden. Part. But he loves it because he is absolutely terrified of nuclear war. He loves wasting our money. He loves that, as we're gonna describe, it's a massive provocation of China and likely Russia as well. And it's a huge grift. It's an absolutely huge ongoing grift that will last for the rest of our lives if it isn't shut down. And maybe it will be. Maybe they'll put the $25 billion into it. That'll go directly into Elon Musk's pocket. And then in 3 years, the next Democratic administration can shut it down as an absolutely massive historic boondoggle. Maybe, but for now, so stupid, and it's not gonna cost $175 billion. According to the CBO, the US may have to spend as much as $542 billion over 20 years to develop and launch the space-based interceptors that it will rely on. And if it goes the way Elon Musk wants it to go, he wants it to be a thing where he's not gonna like build and launch all that stuff and then it's ours. He's gonna own it, and we're gonna pay a subscription fee for our nuclear defense for the rest of time. None of this should happen. Every bit of this should be shut down. And by the way, he's being super vague. He is already promising $25 billion. He says he knows exactly how much it's gonna cost, $175 billion. He won't even say who's building it. He won't say what timeline, he won't give any details, but he knows exactly how much it's gonna cost. Total lifetime investment. This is just opening the door to money flooding in defense contractors. And maybe in some ways it's better than just, hey, let's invade a couple of Middle Eastern countries and then we just pay, Boeing and Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and all that for the rest of time. But this is just setting up endless corruption. And so as I alluded to, let's jump to graphic 4. China is saying that this it violates the principle of peaceful use of outer space, and that it's gonna start an arms race that will shake the international security and arms control systems, because Trump either stupidly believes or pretends that he believes that, yeah, we'll put weaponized satellites in orbit and that's it. No one else will ever do it. Russia won't do it, China won't do it. This won't in the end make us less safe, which is stupid if he actually believes it. But let's return now to the cost thing. Let's jump to this about money that Trump supposedly is bringing in.
When you first announced this idea, critics said it would be prohibitively expensive, potentially ineffective, and could trigger an arms race in space. What do you say to those critics about that?
Well, they're wrong. It's about as close to perfect as you can have in terms of real production. I told you Canada wants to be a part of it, which be, fairly small expansion. But we'll work with them on pricing. We'll be dealing with them on pricing. They know about it very much. They've asked to be a part of it, actually. They've asked us to be a part of it. I think it's something that is great. If you can afford to do it, we can afford to do it. We took in $5.1 trillion in the last 4 days in the Middle East. And when you think about it, this is a tiny fraction of that. But we make it all here. We're going to make it all here. We have, when I will tell you, an adversary told me, a very big adversary told me the most brilliant people in the world are Silicon Valley.
Okay, so look, he doesn't know anything about anything, and I know that we all know that. He's making up numbers. The $5.1 trillion, that's not anything. That's not even the made up numbers they've previously announced about his trip into. No, dummy. The made up number is $1.4 trillion that you supposedly got from the UAE, and maybe 200 more. And that's not gonna end up being the case. And you didn't get it over the last 4 days. That's them saying we'll do it over the next years, which they might or might not, but we don't have that money. But look at this guy. When it is anything government-wise that affects you, problems you have, your family, your community, your state, we're broken. It's a broken country. We gotta cut, get Elon in there, get the doggy twinks in there. And now it's, hey, this could end up costing like $500 billion. Well, if you can afford it, you do it. You do whatever you want. I mean, who cares if it works? We can afford it. We can afford anything. When it's other people's money that he gets to throw at defense contractors, the sky is the limit. There's no. When are people gonna wake up to the lies? I need an assurance that the next president coming in, who is gonna have to cancel a lot of the nonsense Trump has done, this has to be one of the first things they do. Cut this thing, put the spending into education, put it into healthcare, put it into infrastructure, whatever you want, stuff that actually benefits the American people, and not Starlink satellites flying around waiting to golden eye our adversaries or whatever. It's a massive waste of money, and we have real problems to solve. Final thought goes to you, Sharon, on this.
Yeah, via the next president, it's not going to happen, even if they're the best, because they're going to it's going to be dumbing it down for that 50% of the population who actually believes this gold dome nonsense and these trillions of dollars and these numbers he's pulling out of his buttocks. They're not going to be able to do that much. especially the first couple of years. They've got to just gently bring these indoctrinated people along. I mean, I love how he's such the diplomat now too. What did he talk to the governor of Canada? And now the governor says we're in on this too. I mean, since that's what he likes to do, diss them, all of a sudden, best friends, and it's gonna be great, and everything's so beautiful, everything's so perfect, okay? So there's not enough fighting down here, okay? You got Israel, you got Gaza, you got Ukraine, you got Russia, and now let's go to outer space, let's fight there, let's do whatever we can and make everybody rich. Like you said, the defense contractors, it's great. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Also, by the way, like, didn't we used to? Galfar was saying this to the chat. He's talking about the wall that he built, but we used to joke like, what comes after the wall, and we said it was a dome. Just put a massive dome over America. I think he read that and he can't look. A lot of people can't tell sarcasm over the internet, but I think that's what happened with Trump. And I will just remind everyone, the brain damage that Trump seems to be affected by. We talked during the campaign about how it causes these emotional side effects, these emotional consequences of fear and aggression, hostility. Is that why we have this? That he just is so terrified of these missiles that I don't care what we have to pay to make me feel more comfortable. We need to do that. I will bankrupt the next generation because I'm that terrified. And I don't care if China says it's gonna start an arms race. Screw China, I wanna fight with them. He's picking all these fights with China. He would warn us about never having a woman as president because they'd be so emotional. He seems to be being triggered by these brain damaged emotions that are flooding through his system, and he has no capacity, no will to actually resist it.